Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Browns Moohead Radio postgame show. The final score, the Tennessee Titans win. Tennessee Titans win. Tennessee Titans win. I'm your host, Mr. Moohead, and for the next however long that I can stomach it for, we will talk a little bit about the game. But I guarantee you, I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to scream. At this point, there are a few points that I want to make. Joining me on the program, Tony the Calf and Bronk the Moose from England.
Whoa.
And I guess...
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
Can I scream something? Kevin Stefanski should be fucking raped with a fucking 2x4 with nails sticking out of it. Fuck that clown. I wish nothing but the worst for him. How do you your quarterback, Drew Sanders, who should have started from the beginning of the year, they shouldn't have gone with the Joe Flacco route, led them to this second half that they were fucking lifeless. They were fucking no hope. And then all of a sudden, touchdown. They're within, was it 8 at the time?
Yep.
So let's go for the 2-point conversion right then. Why not just kick the field goal? Okay, whatever, you don't get it. They go back down, get another touchdown. You got to go for 2. Shedeur Sanders is on the fucking sideline. And you run a trick gadget play that fucking Helen Keller could have seen coming. And you lose the game. So fuck him, fuck him, fuck him.
Pretty
Fair
much,
enough.
yeah.
Fair enough. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this edition of...
We'll see you tomorrow when I'm more level-headed and I only...
Good night, everybody.
That was one of the best Tony the Calf rants I've ever heard.
Yeah, brief to the point.
Succinct, understandable.
So,
and I'm not the biggest Shedeur guy, but how do you fucking not give him the chance to win you the fucking football game?
Well, because again, this is what I've spoken about before, and it's stupid to keep talking about it over and over again. We're going to bring Hammer Time into the equation. Hello, Hammer Time. How are you?
This has not been a good weekend for me. That's for damn sure. Damn.
This
was a bad weekend.
There'll be plenty more weekends there.
So I get to talk to Tony and Mr. Moohead.
Yeah, there you go.
And the Moose. And you got a doggy.
And I got a dog with me.
Now, before we really get into
I agree with Mrs. Smith.
No, I don't. And, all of these stupid conspiracy theories.
Why not?
No, because it's too stupid for me. I'm too smart to get involved in that nonsense. I need assistance from the people in the chat and my co-hosts. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take my Topaz out for a walk, and I missed the touchdown but I did see the replay of the touchdown. What happened on the 2-point conversion after that touchdown?
The first one or the second one?
No, the one where they tore his sleeve off and he managed to amble into the end zone.
So he fumbled the snap, and then it got picked up by one of the guys from the Titans who went rumbling, bumbling, stumbling down the field. And then DeJuan Jones caught up with him and freaking flattened his ass. Oh, my God. It was a thing of beauty. And the guy is on the sideline taking oxygen. But they just fumbled the snap. It was just stupid.
Yeah. And everybody, was it Shedeur who fumbled the snap?
Shedeur was in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a bad snap, and then the ball hit the ground, and everybody just stood there like it was freeze frame.
I thought it was a Fumblerooski person.
Fumblerooski again.
Yeah.
Well, anything could be possible that could be drawn up in the sand, I guess. Yeah. And again, you could kick the ball. You're playing at home. You could come within one touchdown, which they ended up getting. And you didn't need to go for 2. And we're going to have to sit through another one of his stupid press conferences. And he's going to lean heavy on the mistakes that the Browns made. But DG is saying Luke Whippler. Was it a bad snap to Shador or a premature
it
snap?
hit him, like in the hands or something. I don't know. Whatever it was a bad snap and it hit the ground. So I will say this: when it comes down to quarterbacks, I think we made out in this deal.
Oh, absolutely.
Even with the shit wide receivers in line we have, I'll take Shador Sanders over Cam Ward, at least at this point in their careers. There is nothing that he has done considering what he has out there to work with. I mean, he made some great throws to shit wide receivers who, with the exception of Fannin, who's going to stay with the team, I don't see the rest of them being there in 2 years. That pass he threw to Njoku was a freaking dime. I mean, oh my gosh, he just
what I can
even the one to Judy was in stride on the run.
Yep.
And then of course Judy has to be a dumbass and do a flip in the end zone. It's like, don't remember how to walk into the end zone because you never do it anymore. So
I'm agreeing with all this shit, man.
Totally there. I can point out the things that I take notice of. And the first one is the second the game begins and the Browns come out flat and get run over, just like tanks were running over them. I know that they're not prepared to play against a 1-11 football team because the coach hasn't prepared the team and they're not properly motivated. That's the first thing. The second thing is when they kick the ball off and it's Ford returning the kickoff, I realize that we're not serious about getting any better on special teams. That's for goddamn sure. That's the second thing that runs through my mind. Then continuing to watch the game and watching Shador pass our way back into a first half lead, I'm saying, he's doing this kind of like without wide receivers. And it's pretty impressive that he's able to throw the ball down the field and on target. Impressive. But then there's the other side of the coin, his frantic tapping of the ball that makes him split seconds late getting the ball to receivers and giving the faster NFL players a chance to break on the ball was undeniable. The one interception that he threw was inexcusable and is bench worthy. When you're in a situation where there's no one to throw to, you throw the ball out of bounds. You don't throw it straight up in the air down the middle of the field. That is inexcusable, and it shows somebody who's more into themselves than into their team. And I'm going to play this both ways to be fair and honest, because if Dylan Gabriel threw the same pass, I would say the same thing. It doesn't matter who does it. That's just a stupid play.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there that throwing down the middle at that point in time after you've been back there so long is a dumb play. And there's a story, and I try to look it up and find it, and I can't remember if it was Steve Young or Brett Favre or somebody. It was some very successful quarterback, and I want to say it was Steve Young, and they had a play where they were unsuccessful throwing the ball down the middle. They had 4 picks the whole year or something, or 6 picks the whole year, and 4 of them were on the same play that they ran. So they took it out of the playbook. Well, I don't think that was the play. He was trying to make something, and that's something you can teach him. And the same thing with the patting the ball. They can teach him to quit doing that. I mean,
they've been trying, from what I understand.
Yeah, but I mean, think about how much time he's had and how much more time he'll get. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I'm watching highlights of Kozar. Kozar couldn't play at this speed anymore, even at his highest level when he was there. Now, smart enough, yes, but the speed of the game, no, I don't think he'd be able to stay up with us. But
again, I mean, in a situation where you're being rushed by a bunch of people, you just throw the ball away. You don't throw it straight up in the air.
Yeah. And he made a lot of good throws like that. He made a lot of good throwaways.
Well, if there was an intended receiver, I would understand. But on that play, that was just a pure panic. And what I wanted to put up on Twitter was, if God told him to do that, don't hire God as your offensive coordinator next season, because you just can't be serious doing that. But
God might be a better offensive coordinator than Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
Hey.
And then I'm dog shits on carpet, film at 11. I'm looking for a comment that I'm not finding the comment, but again, the Kevin Stefanski thing is why would you blame Kevin Stefanski when Tommy Rees is calling the plays? And either you're daft, and I know you're smarter than that, Jeffrey. I know you're smarter than that. Tommy Rees is a dodge. I mean, look what happened to Dorsey. I mean, there's nobody who's going to call the plays, and Kevin's going to get his way. So there's that. And whoever calls a 2-point conversion play that the player doesn't know he's supposed to pitch it out, this is, again, nomenclature, terminology that we keep seeing over and over, that the players don't know the play that they're feeding into the field in critical parts of the game. So yes, Kevin Stefanski should have been fired a long time ago. I have been really thinking hard. If they bring him back next year, I'm considering terminating Browns programming on my podcast. And I know it's like committing suicide, but I will not. I mean, for a little under 1,000 subscriptions, sit here and try to make sense of this. He should be terminated. And I've been saying that over and over again. And I've been animated and tried to be funny about it, try to be absolutely out of the realm of normality and saying ridiculously flagrant things. But this is countless times where they don't even know the play they're running. And once again, that Shedeur is not allowed on the field when the game, he brings them back and he won't let Shedeur finish it out. That is a mean-spirited person. That's a person who is ugly. It's a person who is in authority and is going to use that in any way he can to be able to get his way and to make a comment and a statement and to hurt the feelings of a ball player. I'll tell you what the lowest moment was for me. All right. The lowest moment for me, and I put this up on Twitter, this one actually made the feed, is when you've got a 1-11 team celebrating in front of a less than half-filled stadium because the team is nothing. The fans don't care about them anymore. They're not a viable NFL franchise anymore. They can't sell out a stadium. You see plenty of cold play. And the Bills Mafia fans, it wouldn't matter. They would be out there screaming in the cold lake effect weather. But, the stadium's less than half filled. They, make the play and they start mocking Shedeur Sanders in the end zone to the crowd, belittling what little of a group of people they are. Even a 1-11 team can shit all over this team and play harder. That's, I think, the way that I look at it. And I don't know. To me, if you're being outplayed by a 1-11 team, you can't say, well, they have more to play for than you do. No, they don't. But they are, they wanted it more. And in their own way, they tried to give it back because they're not any good. But we're not any good either, but we have no motivation as well. And the one bad interception, most rookies do that. look, Cam Ward threw a pick, but he was actually trying to throw the ball to somebody. So I'm not going to buy that either, because that's not a viable explanation. He tried to do it all by himself. And I understand the frustration a player would feel when he's got no offensive line in front of him, he has no running game, and it all comes down to him. I understand how that happens. I really do. But you can't do that, because you give up the ball. And Dylan Sampson, you can't fumble that ball. You can't be holding it in one arm. You can't do that. You make a good play and you turn that into a disaster.
Yeah.
And, if they don't get that field goal, then it's a completely different thing. We score that last touchdown and we win the football game. So it's a rookie mistake. It's a rookie mistake. Larvidan, it's a rookie mistake. He fumbles kicks. There's always a fucking excuse. Our coaches don't get the players ready. Our team suffers the most injuries of any team in the NFL because of the physical therapy, or the conditioning, I should say better, of Cleveland Browns players. And they have, it's obvious at this point. You can't tell me that all the way to threadbare state that your offensive line is all completely injured, but it is. And that's the other thing. There are guys who have never played before who have to come in and play, and they're not ready to play. So
one thing you brought up at halftime, Moo, and it continued in the second half, was how terrible the defense was against the run.
Yep.
Overrunning plays, just getting gashed on a regular basis. Now, I think when they realized they were just going to run it, they kind of shut it down right there at the end when we got the ball back. But that's unacceptable. I mean, that's just horrible. And so they have a new coach as well this year, right? They fired their coach week 6 or something like that.
Yep.
And he knows what he has: a shitty offensive line and a quarterback who's a brand new rookie, even though he was one of the top draft pick in the draft. But they managed to run plays that were getting the ball out quickly. And you mentioned that here in this post game as well. It's like we don't even realize what the hell's going on. I don't get it. How many times can we sit here and just say this? When we're predicting plays before they happen, and we are not professional football coaches, there's a problem.
Well,
couple of things. Shadur Sanders became the first Browns quarterback since 1950 to throw three passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and 300 yards in the same game.
Yep.
And Stefanski's first comments: "Why didn't you put Shadur Sanders on the field?" "Oh, that's on me. I made a bad decision."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's all.
Are you making this up, Tony?
No, this is directly from your favorite praying mantis himself, Daryl Ryder. Kevin Stefanski declines to explain why Shadur Sanders was taken off the field. "It's on me. I made a bad decision."
I mean, it's just...
How many times can it be on you making my mistake, my bad decision?
It's just...
This is the new Pat Shermer always would say it's battle. This Kevin Stefanski always says it's on me.
I've got to be better. Yeah. That's all it is.
I got to watch the Hugh Jackson. I got to watch the tape. What the Christ? Accountability, guys. Come on.
And again, I put nothing past Jimmy Haslam. I put nothing past this organization. If the way that the defense, I mean, it didn't even look like the same defense. And there was no energy coming out onto the field. It was almost like they were told not to, but you don't want to go there. But it's like, my God, this is a lousy 1-11 team you're playing, and they're steamrolling you. And it's not the offensive line. Shadur gave you 29 points in the game. I don't know what it is you want.
With that defense, you score 29 points, you should win. This is not the Bengals scoring 35, 40 points and losing on a regular basis. This is a team that's supposed to have a decent defense. It's just, Andrew Siciliano made a comment about, you were talking about the going for two. I don't know.
I'm all ears.
Yeah. He made a comment as I was listening to him and Nathan as I left because I couldn't watch anymore. But they said it's one of those analytics things that if they go for two, it gives them that huge momentum that all they need is a touchdown and extra point to win the game. And they
no, stop there because I'll forget to respond.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And I would understand that, except what is the other side of that when you fuck up the play or your players don't know the play or the play call doesn't put your best players on the field, what that does to guarantee that the team quits. I mean, all this statistical bullshit it's crap.
That was on the first one. That was on the first attempt. And then it forced them to have to go for two on the second one.
Oh, of course.
And that was everybody's hindsight. And people and Andrew basically said, people are going to question that forever because you kick the two extra points and you're tied.
You're going to overtime against the worst team in the league. I mean,
at home.
And
with all the momentum on your fucking side.
You've got a team that you just scored two touchdowns on, and the only scores they've had in the second half are when we gave them the ball inside the red zone.
Yep.
So, not that we wouldn't do that again, but at least there's an opportunity.
Christ Almighty, it's common sense.
That was it. I guess it's one of those analytics things. It's there is a chart.
I never want to hear that ever again because
there's a chart and it says this is when, but the chart doesn't say go for two. The chart says go for one when it's 14 points and you score a touchdown. It says
play for a tie
one.
At home. If you're going to go for the win, it just depends what the weather conditions are. But the bottom line is, if you don't play the player who has scored and been part of all the touchdowns that you've scored during the game, then what do you have? And, and you wonder why we have problems with kickers. I mean, Andre Schmidt is sitting there saying, well, they don't need me. I never get to kick an important anything anymore because the coach doesn't trust me.
Yeah. And it's one thing if you're playing the fucking, the Bills or somebody, that's good. The Chiefs or, the Steelers.
Pretty much the rest of the league other than us.
Yeah, if you don't get it, it's like, oh, shucks. Well, we tried to go for the win and we failed. We played up against a better team and we lost. Oh, well.
But we didn't
not
try.
Against the worst team in the goddamn league.
But not only that, we didn't try. I mean, when you look at the way the thing goes down, it's just a series of just no confidence in his players. And he so he decided to run the Wildcat and that didn't work again. And he's just stuck in his own head. And here's the bottom line. You either want to win, your players want to win, or they do not care. The Browns players do not care because the coach just wants to do it his own way.
Kevin, and you're right, Kevin Stefanski, according to Daniel Oyesufu, which is the Browns reporter for ESPN, he stated in his press conference that, I had already decided that Wildcat would be the 2-point conversion play when we got the ball back on the drive to score the touchdown.
Yeah.
So he knew he was going to fucking run it anyways.
Yeah. I mean, so the bottom line is that you have a self-destructive, egotistical, narcissistic head coach, which I've already pointed out in the past, and you are now in a position where you have to fire him at the end of the season. You're not going to do it now. I would personally, but I know that's not going to happen that way. But it's you want to build the confidence of players, and it's almost like, Shedeur, thanks for getting us close, but I'm not going to let you win it. That's exactly the message. That's the message I would get. It's the message I got when I would come in to try to turn a radio station around and say, I got to have some say in the music that we're playing, because we've got to have, there's a way of doing research in the market that you're in. Well, let's see what music the people who are listening want to hear. No, you just go out there and pound the streets with the salespeople. Well, fuck you, because you've been the one who's deciding the wrong playlists and people aren't listening. You're not going to get more advertisements if people aren't listening. So it's the same thing here. It's just a self-perpetuating situation. And I feel bad for Shedeur, because, granted, he's young and sometimes, he's vainglorious and all of that stuff. But in the end, by not giving him a chance, you're turning him into everybody else that you've touched.
What kind of mental effect does this have on Shedeur? Or is he which I highly doubt he's getting messages from higher up saying, hey, just tough it out, a regime change is coming.
Well, I would not be surprised about anything. At this point, it's got to be clear to the players that Stefanski is just desperate. Yeah. And that none of these things make any sense. They're the final act of a failed narcissist who can only look inward and not give a blessing to a new up and coming player. And, what will happen if they keep him? Dillon Gabriel will be the quarterback again next week. That's what we're waiting for in Cleveland, because you got to, if it's me, I'm telling you, you got to fire him. You got to send a message to the team that's like, look, I understand this season is this season. We just can't take this anymore. We're planning ahead for next season, and the best thing to do is to get cancer out of the building. And that coach, if you're feeling non-motivated, we're changing that. We're going to get somebody in here who will be able to motivate offensive players and will not be calling random plays that are barely practiced. Because you can't tell me that. Are you trying to tell me that you want to put the game in the hands of Judkins, a rookie, in that situation? And who knows the truth of what that gadget play is supposed to be? We've fucked up so many of them in the years that Stefanski's coached. It's ridiculous. It's really nauseating.
Couple little stats, by the way, from the game.
Yeah.
Cam going to the game had 143 passes without an interception going into today's game.
Yep.
That's pretty damn good. And we got
one. But he doesn't throw the ball very often down the field. He's throwing a lot of screen passes and
kind of like we did today, until later in the game, and then he started opening it up. And the one thing that you also brought this up at halftime, that pass that went to Judy and a couple of those other passes, those are passes that Dillon Gabriel cannot make.
That's right.
That's just not in his repertoire to make that bolt. And he made a couple of other passes where they weren't quite as far downfield, but they were freaking ropes on the move. And it was some nice stuff. So that was something. And then Carson is supposedly the third rookie to get 100 tackles for the Browns.
Right.
Wally Rainier and TJ Ward were the others.
Wally Rainier never amounted to anything. Again, Schlesinger, I think, is a really good ball player. And I think we have some young talent on the team. I'm not going to sit here and start talking about Andrew Berry, but I do think that getting rid of Kevin Stefanski and I don't see that Tommy Rees, being 29 years old or however old he is should be a head offensive coordinator for a team where he designs the offense. I don't see that. But there's only two things you can do right now. The first one is you can play Dillon Gabriel and you can just throw 4-yard passes because he literally can't do anything else. Or you can play Shedeur and figure out a way that you use the play scheme to give him max protection in the pocket and to allow him to get the ball downfield. And the checkdowns will become much more significant when there's that threat of the downfield, longer passes that you wouldn't have if Dylan Gabriel was the quarterback. But having Shedeur in a situation where, you're still trying to run the ball up the middle and trying to throw little screen passes, and, you're not taking advantage of the strength of that player. And I think it's important to do that. And it will make a world of difference for both Sampson and for Judkins. If there's the perpetual threat of the ball going down the field, they're not going to line up at the line of scrimmage and just smother every single one of our running backs 2-3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's not going to happen. And we're bringing Steven in here as well.
Thank you for having me on, guys.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So let me see. And I'm not going to argue. The best choice right now is Shedeur. But the question is the next head coach for the Cleveland Browns. It's obvious. If Stefanski stays, it's never going to be Shedeur. Okay? So that's what it amounts to. If I see Stefanski as the head coach next year, I'm done. I'm not going to even waste my time because we know what we're going to get. And for me, it's not worth my weekends. It's not worth just, taking a day of the week where I could be with my wife and we could go out and do things. I'm locking myself down for this shit. And it's not for anything but, the love of the history of the Cleveland Browns. But I'm not going to do it anymore.
Well, I think they'll get rid of him. But again, they kept Hugh after 1-15. Then he went 0-16, and they still kept him.
Yeah, well, and I don't know really what the situation is inside the organization, but you have to decide how your draft is going to go. And you either decide that Shedeur is going to be playing for a starting position next season, or you're going to go back to the draft. Me personally, I watched the Ohio State game, and I want to say this for the record too. I'm glad Indiana won. I think that the better football team won the football game. And for a team that has lost 30 times in a row to an opponent, to go out there and win that game with the horrible state of college football right now, literally screwing around with the ratings, and the whole thing is dishonest. That a school like Indiana, that a second-year head coach at that program, can take them into the number one position in the country. I say more power to them. You can talk about Ryan Day all you want. It was the Indiana defense that got it done. It stopped the Ohio State running game. They turned Justice Sayin into what he is, which is a one-read quarterback, because he has magnificent wide receivers at Ohio State. But take the running game away, and, that's like not the cherry on top. That's the whole sundae. And kudos to the Hoosiers. They deserve to win that game.
That playoff bracket is just horrible. James Madison gets in, Tulane. Notre Dame doesn't get in. Alabama loses 3 and stays in, doesn't even move down.
Right.
It's crazy, man.
It's not honest.
State lost and didn't move down. But one spot, I'm like, what the hell is this?
It's just not honest. So
BYU lost and they were out.
Yeah, I mean, I if I could, and I can't. Anything where there's a lot of money involved becomes very dishonest in our culture today, and it is. We're up to our eyeballs in deceit, in crime, but it's white collar crime. This is, they point the finger and saying it's Somalians or whatever. The people who are committing the biggest crimes are the people who are the wealthiest people. And you don't even have any idea of what they're doing to manipulate an economy so that working people don't have a good chance. I'm not a socialist, I'm a capitalist, but the bottom line is when something is corrupted from inside because the driving force is just strictly money for a few, you get college football programs and it's just ratings for a few. And
I'm just shocked that Notre Dame got screwed. I thought if anything they would have kept Notre Dame in and bumped Bama out.
3 losses and you get in. I mean,
and they're ranked 9. They're almost ranked halfway down the field. This makes no sense.
Yeah, but I think yeah. Well, Ventrone isn't even. There's no reason he's there. I mean, when the Browns kick off and are kicking it off deep into the end zone, conceding the 35-yard line every time. I mean, come on. It's an acknowledgement that you don't have special teams. It's just embarrassing.
And part of that is also depth of roster, because we all know that those are the guys that basically play special teams are those second tier guys. But yeah, they
Richard, if Notre Dame actually put viable teams on their schedule, I would agree with you. But Notre Dame, they will play the one hard game they have in the beginning of the year, and they will invariably lose it. And then they play a bunch of patsies, and they move their way up. And I don't give a flying fuck about Notre Dame. I don't give a fuck about them. If I never see them again, if the campus burned down, I wouldn't care, because that is dishonest in a different way. And
there's a conference that would be glad to take them on.
They don't want to be in a conference.
No, they don't. But if
because they can play Mickey Mouse teams like military armed forces teams.
Yep.
Not what they're into.
They got that $12 billion contract with NBC.
Wow. Jesus.
Well, hey, Notre Dame screwed themselves, so even they're not exempt from it.
Well, it's money, and it's who it's the SEC, it's the Big Ten, it's this and that.
Well, Moo, just before we move on, the Big Ten proposed a 24-team playoff bracket that would allow all conference winners in and 15 at-large bids. What do you think about that?
I don't care about it because they're just trying to get more money to play more games.
These are still children. They're not. Everybody playing in this league is under 21.
Yeah, you're going to do that.
You're
going to
get
bodies.
Killed. You're going to fucking kill these. They're playing 16, 17 games, and they're true freshmen. That is mental.
And I completely agree with this. Every rookie is going to make mistakes, but the biggest regret that I would have if I were Shedeur would be being taken off the field when the game hung in the balance. You're trying to lead a team to victory, and if you're not wanted by the Browns, you want to be able to do it so you can show out, so somebody else will want you and you'll get an opportunity somewhere else. I completely understand what's going on. Kevin Stefanski is the absolute wrong coach to have. You want a teacher in there who really is malleable in the sense that it's like, okay, we're going to devise a game plan that's going to really be suitable to make this guy as good as we can make him. And and Sam Rutigliano, and I always talk about Sam, would say, hey, this is how we're going to make an underpowered arm like Brian Sipe into a viable NFL quarterback, is we're going to run schemes that have large wide receivers like Dave Logan. You're going to have tricky pattern runners like Reggie Rucker. You're going to have the solid, never drops a ball, Ozzie Newsome. And you'll have, running backs with the Dewitt Pruitt and Mike Pruitt. And you have big play capability from Greg Pruitt and from Mike Pruitt. You have power yardage. You find the balance. That's the key. How do you make the roster that you have work? Now, the Browns roster sucks. And it needs to be strengthened. But you see what difference it makes when you get guys who are like Schlesinger or players like Judkins. It makes a big difference. But you got to get this rotting coach out of there so that these players will be able to really live up to all of their expectations. and that they will put their heart and souls into the game instead of just waiting to be pulled at the optimal moment for the team to win. You can't expect people to do that. So to me, Shedeur is the quarterback now. To me, Dylan Gabriel is far back in the rearview mirror, and he's so small we can't see him. But the question is now next year. And, the Browns have a history of taking wild shots at quarterbacks. I'll say this for Mendoza. He made a magnificent 32-yard pass when it counted the most. That was a beautiful pass that he threw to beat Ohio State. And that third down pass.
Of quarterbacks over the weekend, Ty Simpson, not impressive.
Yeah.
At Alabama.
This group is not that good. And believe what I'm going to finish up by saying about Mendoza is, that's the line between hitting 200 above or 200 below. I don't see anything magnificent about that guy that's going to turn a pro franchise around.
No.
I stick with Shedeur, but I get offensive linemen and I get receivers. And,
you make this team significantly better with 2 first-round draft picks, second-round draft picks. All of a sudden, you've added 4 impact players on this team. That is, that can make a huge difference. And we know that, not everybody comes through. I mean, not every first-round draft pick comes through, but I'm telling you, there's people there to be had, and it's going to be. The only bad part is fucking Jaguars keep winning. God damn it.
Yeah. He's not going to cut his hair until they lose.
Somebody forgot to tell them they're supposed to suck this year.
Now, Sunshine Valley, some decent raw talent, needs a couple of years to develop. Well, and something, you're not going to rebuild this crippled Cleveland Browns offensive line and a team that is voided out with no wide receivers. That's next year. You're trying to stay as close to 500 as you can. That's what you're trying to accomplish. And you got to grow the talent from within as well as drafting it. And you got to give hope to the players. And if you just keep benching people and saying, well, Shedeur had promise, but, we decided to draft another quarterback, players will just quit some more. That seems to be the case. The players just quit.
Is in the playoffs right now.
Who is?
7-6 is in the playoffs.
Yeah. You just try to shoot for the best record you can have. But I would stay with Shedeur because I don't think there's a quarterback who's, a for sure thing. And even if there was, he's not going to be protected the way he should be. And that poses a big problem.
Look at Caleb Williams this year. Look at what a change in coaching and some offensive linemen. What a difference he's had.
Look at Drake May.
That's on right now with the Packers and the Bears, and right now they have the best record in the NFC. Who knew? So
well, when we keep talking about the same problems week after week after week, we know that this coaching staff can't do any better. And I believe that a number of the players could do better. I think people like Jerry Jeudy will never do better because he's just a head case. But I do believe that we can't afford to waste. I mean, Fannin is really good. He's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to lift the spirits of him and Judkins and Sampson. And we got to get real wide receivers. We just can't expect, putting in Isaiah Bond for a bomb once or twice in a game. You don't have anybody who can secure the ball in the middle of the field. And it's like I said, David Njoku is finished. His NFL career is over. There's no reason to even think that he's trade bait. Nobody's going to want to fuck around. He's got leg injuries. He's got problems and made a great catch. And he didn't really get up. And that was the end of that. You need to have players who can use large bodies. I don't mean Cedric Tillman, because God only knows he runs patterns and he runs himself out of bounds. I mean, you got to have people who have some brainwave activity out there, who have some smarts for the game.
Well, I've been quiet a long time. Let's go back to the ideal world where we have an offensive-minded head coach, and he sees that Gabriel's not the answer, and gives Shedeur reps in August and September and October. How many fucking wins do we have this year? We have at least 7. I mean,
Yep.
and Sanders would be so much better than he is now, and he's already set a fucking record in today's game.
Yep.
I mean, it's just I keep going back to Kevin throwing the games, because I can't think an intelligent person would do these things in good faith.
Well, I can't believe he still has a job doing these things.
Yeah, I mean, yes, exactly. So
he's insulated.
There is something there that we're on the cusp of putting our thumb on and pushing out all the pus and getting rid of what is wrong with this franchise. And that's where we're at. We have to watch unnecessary 2-point conversions. We have to watch unnecessary 4th down plays. We have to watch all unnecessary option wildcat plays. Why? You know, anybody else, if you did that at a university, I mean, people are critical of Ryan Day, and rightly so, on occasion. But if you did that at a big time university, some of the things Kevin has done, the fucking alumni would hang your ass from a tree at some point. You couldn't get away with it, but Kevin can. I don't know what the story is.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you want to run out a field goal kicker at Ohio State who wrecked the Michigan game the year before, and by golly, he choked again.
Yeah,
and
I mean, yeah, we can blame him, but he's a kid, you know. Yeah, it is what it is, you know.
I'll tell you, you're either rock solid or you're not. If you're mentally weak, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it in college football. You're not going to make it in pro football. You're not going to make it in the NBA if you're Darius Garland. You keep missing last-second free throws because he's been doing it his whole fucking career. It doesn't matter. If you don't have the stuff inside you that way, you're never going to be the player that you need to be.
You have to have some stuff inside you to get to that level in the first place, obviously. But to get to that next level, to be a clutch player at the highest level, you really have to have character. And if you don't have that, you ain't gonna fucking do it. And that Cavs game last night was the worst Cavs game I think I've ever seen. That first half was absolutely shockingly appalling. We had like 10 points for like 8 minutes.
Yep.
I'm thinking, I'm like, what is going on? And you know what the line was on the over? It was something like, it started off, it's like 239 or something like that. And it ended up being both teams were under 100.
I don't want to get away from the football game.
I know.
I'll make a quick comment in response to that. The biggest problem with the Cavaliers, and I'm going to go right back to the Browns game, folks. The biggest problem with the Cavaliers is when Kenny Atkinson sits down with DeAndre Hunter and says to him, you know, so let's talk. You know, would you rather start or would you rather come off the bench? It's over at that point.
Yeah, you're not leading the team when you do that with players.
And the player is going to do what's best for himself, not what's best for the team. And DeAndre Hunter said, I want to start. He's got an ego. And he's playing like horse shit.
Oh, that was...
and
anyway. Yeah, we can talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know.
And, you know, well, you know, I figured out more ways to try to off Hugh Jackson. So...
well, the common line is the common line is Haslam and Haslam Sports Group, and I don't want to start another rant on that. It gets old for me to even mention it. So,
yeah, and I'm not going to argue. I mean, if you look at what Shadur's done compared to what Dylan has done, it's not a comparison, and there's no decision to be made. The decisions are all going to be based on next season, and that's more important, I think. And of course, the offensive line. I mean, I don't know what these guys are doing. The punt that was blocked, nobody blocked the guy.
Fucking hell.
What the? I mean, special teams, man. It's, and I'll tell you another thing. And this is a question that only a cow will ask. And that's, how does Bojorquez go from being a 50-yard punt guy, an average 50 yards, to kicking consistently 38 to 40 yards?
He's like short-legging his
Because he's
kicks.
kicked like 3 times as many times as anyone else in the league.
I believe he's being told to, just like they told Andre Schmidt to kick the fucking kickoff into the end zone and just settle for the 35. I honestly believe that they're afraid that special teams unit will just give up touchdowns left and right. And so if you kick them short, but in the end, the field position for the Titans helped win them the game.
Correct,
We kept kicking them to the 35-yard line, and they would fail and kick us back to the 18 or 20. We were losing 5, 10, 15 yards of field position every time. And and if he's injured, he shouldn't be punting, but I believe he's being told to do that. And nobody will ask that question in the Cleveland press. And I want to know what the answer is, because he's a better kicker than that. And at first I thought, well, there's wind to the stadium, but the other kicker was kicking 50 yards into the direction that 38 yards was going for Bojorquez. So I don't.
He actually,
like
Bojorquez has 11 more punts than anyone than the guy from Tennessee.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
67. He leads the NFL.
You know, there's a lot of reasons for sabotage. And
here's
if you're lost in your own head like Stefanski is, then that is the reason. I don't want to go any further with conspiracy theories. Go ahead.
This will exactly back you up, Moo. He's averaging 45.5 yards a punt. His net is 35.6.
Wow.
That puts him way the hell down here.
Yep.
That's got to be near the bottom.
He is actually 32nd in the fucking league. If that's not reason to fire everybody on special teams.
Yeah, they've ruined him.
Yeah. So there you go.
He's short-legged.
Your point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm just trying to catch up on some of the comments. Well, they have stopped going, and you know something? Jimmy is still raking in the money because people paid for those seats. They just didn't show up.
Yeah, they were going for $7 on the resale market, including fees.
Wow, fees.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
$7 they were going for.
God, you can't even get a McDonald's breakfast meal.
You can't even go to Starbucks for $7.
You can't get a McMuffin and a coffee.
You know, they'll both affect your health the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people bought those tickets and probably just didn't show up, like Moose said. So Jimmy got paid out.
You know.
Do you think Browns fans are kind of a glutton for punishment? Because if they continue to go to these games like this, you know,
But they're not. They didn't go.
No.
What was the attendance there for today's game?
You don't know how many people actually paid to be there. But they never scanned the stadium. But when they did show a little bit, they were just, it was obviously half empty.
Thank God.
And I know that the other half, not all of them paid to get in.
True.
I'll guarantee you that.
True.
They announced 62,982.
There weren't 62,000.
There was not 62,000 people.
Nope.
No. They just lie on that shit.
And this I agree with. But you see, Myles Garrett's going to go for his personal glory because there's no glory for the team. And he knows that. And so they just kept running little plays, sucking him in and throwing little safety valve passes and wide open. He just wasn't going to change what he was going to do. He was going to bull rush no matter what. But that's what's wrong with the team, is that the players and the coaches are not on the same page. The players are frustrated. They're looking more for personal glory than they are for team victory. And the coaching staff is making the decisions to make them lose. It is a bizarre situation. Just a bizarre situation.
Big Lurker's making a point here, saying Haslam last summer 3-14 won't cut it. Well, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, what's 3-14 gonna say this year?
Well, and the fact that he has said that publicly is something that
that's on the record for him, which is unusual because he doesn't fucking put anything on the record. He doesn't go fucking dog pound. He doesn't go and go on weekly press conferences and talk to the press, regardless of whether they're in his pocket or not. He it's just infuriating.
Yeah, I mean, good thing we move up in the draft and Kevin too fancy looks bad with the 2-point try. Yeah, I mean, you guys still got to pick the right guys, though. That's what it comes down to.
I mean, this draft. I mean, this is the best draft I can remember for years. I mean, Fannin looks like fucking Junior Ozzie Newsome at this stage. You got Schlesinger, you got Mason Graham, and they picked up Isaiah Bond, who got ass raped on that one play, and they didn't call interference on it. So, I don't know. I think we've hit a good draft, but the odds of that happening again next season are nil, I would say.
Yeah, this is it's hard to be this bad. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, you really have to try. You have to make really obnoxious decisions to be this bad. You know. Oh, and then the absolute, I don't know, God, what happened in the fourth quarter was when the game got really dire, I switched over the red zone. Then I came back to the Browns game when they got close. But the Ravens got absolutely fucked on several occasions by the referees. One was on some bizarre Aaron Rodgers pass that got batted up in the air, and they said he recaught it when it was actually the Ravens' ball. And then another time, the Ravens had a touchdown wiped off the board because they said that likely didn't hang on to the ball long enough when he had about 3 steps holding the ball. So, I mean, the fucking Steelers, they obviously know how to get wins when they need them.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into that type of stuff. We have to play better. We have to coach better. Bottom line. You see,
he has to resign. If you do that, like Big Lurker and I, we live in a country where if you are that bad at your job, you fucking resign. You have the pride and honor in yourself saying, I have fucked up for so long, I'm going to leave, you know? Look at all the prime ministers that quit when they know that, the game is up. So that doesn't happen in America, does it?
Yep. I'm making sure I'm zipping down here to get more of what Big Lurker is putting up.
He's doing God's work, Big Lurker.
Yeah, always does great work, and thank you. I appreciate it.
He and I both had a good weekend on our teams in England now, so we're happy about that. We're neck and neck in the championship.
But you see, I said this last week that you can say that Rees is calling the plays, but that playbook is the same playbook.
Yeah.
And at the critical juncture of the game, Kevin Stefanski overrides him, and that's exactly what he said. That was my call. So he's not really an offensive coordinator. The same thing happened to Dorsey.
Yeah, exactly. Dorsey got fucked. I mean, if you go to a restaurant, you're given Kevin Stefanski's menu. So you get to order what you get to eat, but it's all something that Kevin Stefanski is going to prepare for you and give to you, regardless of what you pick. Instead of letting Kevin give it to you, you pick it yourself. But it's the same Denny's menu.
Yeah. I mean, the fans here all feel the same way, and I can't believe that the owner wouldn't feel the same way.
Unless there's some other reason why.
Yeah, it's just
maybe Kevin's got a sex tape with Jimmy Haslam or something, and blackmailing him. Let's throw that conspiracy out there.
Well, here's the other thing: a play is not a gadget play when the other team knows it's coming.
Correct.
When you've seen it multiple times and it consistently fails, and the players don't know how to run it. These are not, gadget plays. These are just the fancy of the head coach. And, he thinks that being stylish is wearing a ruffled shirt to a social gathering. So that's that.
From Mad Male. But anyway, I don't think Judkins ever ran the Wildcat at Ohio State or Georgia or wherever else he was
right.
at. And he's expected to do that in the snow, in the rain, and in the wind, and on a key play to keep the team in the game. I mean, why do you do that? It makes no sense. Wally Rayner.
And again, I wouldn't put anything past Jimmy Haslam. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't put anything past him.
Stand up to the media and deny it. At least if he came on the media and says, "No, I don't. I'm not tanking. I'm not telling the team to tank." Well, then, fair enough. But he hides away.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's saying the same thing in the chat room. I mean, it's obvious that of what we have, I mean, Shedeur is the better choice. That's obvious.
Well, I wasn't all that impressed by Mendoza. I don't think he's the answer over Sanders. I wouldn't waste the first-round draft pick when we got Sanders already to draft Mendoza, when we could get fucking wide receivers or offensive linemen or defensive guys. It's crazy.
Yeah. Watson is not anything but a bystander, David. No reason to bring Deshaun Watson into this. The reason he's even here was Jimmy Haslam. So that's the big swing and a miss, as Jimmy has publicly said.
That's what he said.
Seriously, that's what he said.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he said that was the big swing and miss.
That's the last time he's made anything public, too. How many months ago was that? I don't know.
What's really funny about it is the notion that the Cleveland media keeps fanning the flames of, Deshaun Watson could come back and start a few games here at the end of the season. That's what we're down to here. And it's really sad.
I don't even want to comment about that.
Is Deshaun still hopping on one leg or what?
Pretty much. Yeah, his career's over. His career's going to be over. I mean, he's going to try somewhere else, but it's not going to work.
He can take his bad foot off and throw it to Isaiah Bond and let him catch it with his helmet.
I mean, the whole Watson deal and all of that was 100% the responsibility of the owner of the team. And he's acknowledged that it was the big swing and miss. But the thing is, we keep swinging and missing. We played Dylan Gabriel for 6 games and dumped the season. And then we put the other guy in when the players have already obviously quit.
We could still criticize the fact they brought in Flacco and fucking Kenny Pickett. I mean, what was the point of all that shit?
Well, Jimmy Haslam's been swinging and missing for the last 40 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is what he is, and we're not going to be able to change that, unfortunately. But at least we can have some entertainment, for God's sakes. And
from head coaches to GMs to players, he's been swinging and missing a lot. But again, Moo, just to piggyback off of what you said, notice how they never ask these guys the right questions.
Well, they're not allowed to, Steven.
I noticed that.
They're not allowed to.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think I read that that there are 4 coaches still being paid by Haslam.
Quite possibly.
And so this comment is not viable. I mean, this is what he does. He's a flake.
Holmgren, one of them. I think Mike Cleveland was the funniest one ever.
Sergeant Hulka.
The big toe. He is the big toe.
I'm the big toe. Warren Oates. What a great performance.
You are. I could do with a Hulkaburger right now.
The Hulkaburger franchise never really took off, though, unfortunately.
No, I could do with a Hulkaburger.
Bring in Mark Sanchez. I like that comment. Bring him in, man. He'll be like Law and Order, the guy who got stabbed in Law and Order.
Oh dear.
Well, I appreciate
bring in Chauncey Billups, the Browns. Thank you, Rubber City.
Hey, bring in Pete Rose. I'm just kidding. He's not allowed.
And I agree.
Yeah.
Fan, a great draft pick to get him where we got him, and he's. It's really weird. It's not that he's fast, but he's kind of elusive, and he can go through people. He's really. It's nice to see him coming on because the Chief is gone.
The thing about Fan is we were talking about character. He has the right stuff. He obviously has the character to make plays, and we haven't seen that for.
Or how about this? The final boss, Jimmy Haslam, comes down as a head coach. He relinquishes ownership and it signs as a head coach for 10 years.
David Murray, you don't have to hear from AB. He's just sitting there saying Schlesinger and Fannin and Shador, and he's off the hook. He ain't going anywhere.
This fucking great draft class. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah. So
the Browns should bring back. They should bring back Odell Beckham and bring in Antonio Brown.
Yeah, we need more crazy people.
Yeah, and of course they do. MKC and Grossi are two people who are paid just to be the slaves. They're both sex slaves of Jimmy Haslam. It just depends whether he wants vaginal penetration or anal penetration. That's all it is.
If you give me 1 minute, I'll read this out for you. Round 1, Mason Graham, number 5. Round 2, number 33, Schlesinger. Number 36, Junkins. Round 3, 67, Fannin. Number 94, Dylan Gabriel. Round 4, Dylan Sampson. Round 5, Shador Sanders. The worst player out of that 7 is Dylan Gabriel, and maybe Dylan Sampson below that. And then you got fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits of good players to potential star players.
So
great draft.
At any rate, I'm looking at the time. I got to get out of here. I think I've done my part, and God only knows, for 24 years, I've done my part.
You've done enough. You can.
I really have, and I'm getting weary. I'm getting weary of this, and I'm getting tired of wasting my Sundays with this. I really am.
Who the Browns play next week, Moo?
I don't know, and I don't care. I don't even care who the Cavaliers play next. I don't care, because if you're not going to bring it, don't make millions of dollars and not bring it.
Hey, Moo, y'all play at Chicago next week. Oh my God.
Yeah. If I'll tell you something. If Jason Tyson can go out on the floor and between 1 year and 2 years improve the way he has, without great foot speed, without great size, and just out of sheer want to, can earn minutes, then what is the excuse for Darius Garland refusing to go into weight rooms and build up his strength? What's the excuse for DeAndre Hunter just giving up? What's the excuse for Jared Allen just giving up and saying, I'm injured? Or Dean Wade letting himself get pushed around? There's no reason to support athletes that aren't trying hard enough. Because if everything were like that, if you went to the grocery store and you were there, you said, I got to pick up some chicken or some beef at the, and all of the shelves are empty. And you're like looking at the guy, the butcher behind the case, and you're saying, yeah, I want some chicken. He goes, hey, Denny.
Yeah, I didn't feel like cutting up any for you today. I didn't feel like playing.
that's basically, if everyone took the same approach with their jobs, we'd be in a hell of a bad situation. So it isn't being a superstar. It's giving your best. It's
Having
taking
a character
and working at your craft. That's what does this. So,
well, no, man.
And that is right. They are a bunch of pussies, and
Correct.
everyone in the league knows it. The referees know it. Everybody. And
Absolutely.
Damn,
right
that's pretty
answer.
bad if the referees know that. Imagine the referees calling you a pussy. Like, hey, fucking pussy, get back in the game.
Yeah.
well, I mean, I don't understand. I understand that coaches make less of the players, but
Correct.
there comes a point where, I mean, do you really think that the best coaches, and you know what, I'll tell you who the best coaches are right now. You already know who they are. One of them is in Miami, because look what he's done. They have a winning record after they've lost, and they're in build-up mode. And
Spolstra,
Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. Udoka, the guy who lost his job in Boston.
the Rockets coach. Yeah, great coach.
Yep, great coach. Situational coach, knows what he's doing. You can name the good coaches, but here's the interesting and the last thing I'm going to say, because I got to get off the air. The Cleveland Cavaliers players did not respond to JB Bickerstaff. All right.
No.
And they're not responding to Kenny Atkinson either.
Not now, yeah. They may have last year.
This is who they are. And the Cleveland Browns players are not playing hard for Kevin Stefanski. They have shut him out. And Myles Garrett is just rushing blindly to get his record. And he's not even thinking of what situation is behind him and what chaos he's creating for the defense. He doesn't give a shit. And believe me, if the team were winning, he would.
I think he would, yeah.
So that's what this is all about. And you need players who have character to build, you know, some kind of, how would I put it? Pride in what they do and put effort into it and care. But the Cavaliers don't care. It's obvious. DeAndre Hunter doesn't care. Jared Allen doesn't care. You know, they don't care. And Darius Garland doesn't care. You can just tell. He's more because his foot hurts. Well, get the fuck off the floor. Lonzo Ball doesn't care. He's blank-faced jarhead.
He's a nonsense.
Yep. You know what they actually said? This is unbelievable. All the minutes that he's played this year, he's only shot 3 balls in the paint. And he made his first one in the last game. I mean, how can you be a point guard and not penetrate? But as long as they allow him to be lazy like that, you know, he should go back home where his daddy can ball him, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. All right, everybody. Thanks to Big Lurker UK. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Some of the people who are here saying, I can't believe he's still on the air, waiting to listen to the broadcast on archive. Thank you for coming in and supporting the program. I certainly appreciate it. We'll be back again tomorrow with the next installment of Moohead Radio. So thank you and take care. And thank you, Tony and Moose and Steven and General Dog and Hammer and all the people who came in to make this show easier and nicer for me.
Thank you for having me on.
Hey, thanks. So until next time, hasta la vista, Pasture Heads. Good night.